Leaked text reveals Shannon Sharpe accused to confront him about unrelated sessions. No means no. Yo, what the fuck am I reading? Interesting. Well, that's a whole ordeal. I can't focus on it. It's not like not properly like working. Hey!
Colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Buzbee, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Buzbee targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out.
Sup? McDonald's for me? Oh, hell yeah. Big Mac. Is that your nuggets?
No. Everything in there is you.
I had so much food then.
I'm sorry. I didn't know what to get you, so I just started getting things.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
A honey packet. This is my favorite day. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known.
Whoa, that would be fucking awful. Like, why would this lawyer release a possibly sex tape extract to the internet for everybody to see? That's fucking awful. Yo, what?
His Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Buzbee want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys. Thanks.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of see where this is going. Okay, unless this is a distraction from main events. I mean, I can't really, so we can only speculate, right? And it's not like this is not unreasonable speculation either. If he knows he's gonna leak a certain sex tape or whatever, he's saying he leaked the whole thing. I think that makes a lot of sense. I'm not gonna defend anybody. It seems like from my POV, they shouldn't do that. But if they do leak an edited thing, that's fucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit because that could be anything. Like anything you can make quite literally anything look like anything. Does that make sense? Like that's just an awful thing. So maybe it is kind of fake or like a distraction because why would the other lawyer even leak that? That's awful. That'll make them look terrible in court. Why would they even do that? Is that his men account? See, I don't like this. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like this method. I don't know what these like fucking like Looney Tunes fucking like lawyers are doing. Like this like a leak war is just so stupid. Why are they making this all public and shit? So brain dead. Am I wrong? It's like leak war of like, oh look at this text. This looks bad. But look at this text though. Look at this text though. Brother, take this shit up to fucking court. If your case has merits, you will win off of merits. It's not evidence of anything. Brother, it is not evidence of anything. You are not the court of the law, brother. You're not the court of law. You don't get to say what's evidence of what. A lot of this shit could, like, we can see some of the metadata off of this shit. But what about as an audio, a video? We don't know the metadata. I want you to put a dog collar on my neck and choke me with it while you're fucking me. Oh, yo, what the fudge? I know you miss this big juicy ass. 25k for each cheek. What? Huh? The lawsuit filed by Gabriella and orchestrated by attorney Tony Busby is a blatant, cynical attempt at the shakedown. Filled with lies and distortion, misrepresentations. Yeah, I see what they're trying to achieve in the eyes of the public. But, chat, this is something that a lot of people on the outside always miss out on some of these cases and accusations or whatever. Believe it or not, you can consent to something or talk about something that you like ahead of time, and when the time comes, not want that anymore, and say, let's not do that. And you can absolutely withdraw consent before something happens. So showing that somebody consented or talked about something before it happened is not evidence of anything. Dude, you act like it's like some new thing that people do to text like, yo, I want you to do this and that, and they pull up in real life and they fucking starfish and do nothing and go AFK. Like, dude, some people are like horny at times. They'll text the wildest shit, and they won't do that, and they wouldn't do that. They just talk like that, and when it's real lifetime, that happens, and then they don't want to do that. Is explaining 2K terms. Shannon Sharpe as a 9 overall with a clean rep. Lesser known players in the meaning of illegal mods, posting edited clips. Show him committing flagrant fouls, demanding 50 mil in VC to drop it. Stay quiet. Sharpe has unedited gameplay footage that shows logs proving he played fair. Claims are fake. She kept spinning lies, linked to formal complaint. Okay. Anyway, you have to extract larger than my final settlement, presenting this show with a secretly recorded video of the consensual and sexual encounter. We believe the video has been heavily edited, they can add context. Okay, chat, even if this were true, right? In a court of law, they will ask, and you can definitely say, yo, look up the metadata on this video file or audio file. And they have to look at the metadata, and unless these guys are awful and they altered it, you would need to get a wizard to see that, but regardless, it's not gonna fly. It's not gonna fly. Well, yeah, you need to get a wizard. There are some wizards. But I understand that reputation goes quick. To the record straight, we are releasing several of own text messages that clearly indicate that the nature of the relationship was sexual in nature, and in many cases initiated by her. Yeah, that doesn't mean anything though. And graphic requests, contrary to the allegation she makes in a lawsuit, sexual sex. They have to. I see what they're saying that, but at the same time, I get that doesn't prove anything to me. It does. It doesn't. It really doesn't. I'm sorry. This is a weak sauce. So we call that weak sauce. I mean, it still holds weight in court. It absolutely does if it were a jury. If it were to come down to it, that's a completely different thing. It would play a bit into it for the jury for sure. At the same time, I gotta be honest with you. Consent can be given, withdrawn. The only thing you can't do is withdraw consent after the fact. You can't do that. What? He says, what? I want to put my thumb to your asshole. What? That's my daddy. Fuck, I want you to put big black baby. Whoa. Dude. What the fuck? Top line? Only if you put that baby gravy in me, I can do whatever I want to me. What the fuck? I'm just saying, it's just gonna... why is it gotta be a big black baby? Why does it gotta be big? And also, how do you do that? You feel me? These are just sampling of a broader pattern of graphic sexual encounters. It doesn't paint a good picture. So it's consensual relationship that included role playing, secret line, fantasy scenario explicitly. This edited tape secretly taped and showed to Mr. Sharpe during her blackmail attempt just a falsely portray. Oh, because they already mediated in. Setting out of context prior messages that sexual activities was not consensual. Sharpe believes her secret taping was all part of her planned setup. Well, if that's true, that's fucked up. In both outcomes, it's fucked up if it's true. When will you be texting shit like that? Don't stop capping it. Yeah, but when I text like that, I follow through. I'm a man of my word. You feel me? Like, if I were to say some wild shit like that, I mean, yo. You feel me? Like, does that make sense? That's the difference between me and you. Interesting. Chad, there's something about a 10 mil thing. True or false? What is that? Ask Grok. Chat, is that Centel? Yeah, I'm not gonna get Centel on this bitch. Whoa, 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 whoa. What the heck? When did that come out? Today? Yesterday. No, yeah, yesterday. Former girlfriend, long relationship ended with a restraining order after a Hall of Fame. Whoa! According to previously disclosed lawsuits, but events filed a formal defamation lawsuit against Sharpe for divulging their ongoing legal dispute on television. After news broke that she filed a restraining order. This is a classico. This is classic. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the validity of any of that, but this is kind of touchy topics, right? But it's kind of unfortunate that a lawsuit per se cannot be defamatory, even though it can defame. It's not legally defamatory to file a lawsuit, but if you defend yourself against a public filing, what you say publicly, your response absolutely can be defamatory legally, which is such an unfair high ground for the first to fire wins, and the person with the most to lose will lose, which I think is fucking brain dead. I think it's an awful system.
To my family.
Yeah, I already saw this already. I was looking at this once. I mean, I'm not new to this.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues.
I've played these games before.
To you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown.
We have a new public response, a new disturbing piece of audio, and new graphic text messages.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
the
whoa.
legal battle between NFL Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe and his sexual assault accuser definitely has intensified. As we go through these new developments, who's
Man, the music and shit. These guys racked up the editing these days.
Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. A new legal war has begun, and this time it's between NFL Hall of Famer, podcaster, commentator Shannon Sharpe and the woman who's accusing him of sexually assaulting and raping her as recently as January of this year. Now, we covered this earlier in the week, but now, not only has Shannon Sharpe fired back in a major way, releasing a public message, a response, apparently revealing the identity of this Jane Doe, but he's also published never-before-seen apparent text messages between the two. Quite a response, to say the least. And then what happens? You think the story ends there? No. She fires back by releasing an apparent audio tape between her and Shannon Sharpe. This has crossed to a whole different kind of level, and I want to get into what we're seeing.
Oh, whoa,
right
whoa,
now.
whoa, I didn't hear that.
First, let's take a step back. Let's learn a little bit more about the backstory, what's happening here. So, we have 56-year-old Shannon Sharpe, who has been sued by an unidentified woman. She's going by the pseudonym Jane Doe, and she is suing him for $50 million in Nevada court. She claims that after meeting Shannon Sharpe at the gym back in 2023 and beginning a consensual relationship with him, who, by the way, she claims is 30 years older than her, it escalated into him allegedly insisting they record their sexual activities, sometimes without her knowledge, him sharing those videos with others, him allegedly...
Whoa!
Sometimes without her knowledge, him sharing those videos with others, him allegedly telling her that he would do things to her that, quote, would make no other man want her, that he allegedly manipulated her, controlled her, threatened her, intimidated her, was able to gain access to her apartment complex without her permission. For example, this is from the lawsuit. It reads, the verbal abuse never stopped. He would berate and degrade plaintiff, just as he had from the beginning. One time specifically, he was yelling at her while there was a firearm visible in his room. Terrified for her safety, plaintiff tried sharing her location with friends from her iPhone just in case. But Sharpe saw her doing this. The moment he realized what she was doing, he grabbed her by the neck and told her, if you ever do that again, I will bleeping kill you.
Man, lawyers, it's kind of sad that the legal system is so skewed and cooked that lawyers have to resort to like probably doing things that they don't even find ethically okay. Like depicting that there's a firearm visible in the room. Like how does that come into play in any way into this? How does that even like what?
And then, this finally all allegedly culminated with Jane Doe claiming that in October of 2024, Sharpe violently sexually assaulted and raped her in Las Vegas, all while she was allegedly...
No. You don't understand the point then. If I have a hunting gun on the wall, right, as a decoration for the whole year round, it's always there. And one day we have an argument in this room, is it worse? Is it more abusive? Is it scarier that the gun is on the... It's always there. I'm confused on how that's even worth mentioning. It's like some worthless piece of shit. Like, what the fuck?
Sobbing. And she claims he did this again recently in January of 2025, her allegedly begging him to stop as this was purportedly going on. So she has sued him for assault, sexual battery, sexual battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress. She's being represented by Texas attorney Tony Busby, who we know famously represented a Jane Doe in a now defunct sexual assault lawsuit against Jay-Z. He represents several accusers in actions against Sean Diddy Combs as well. But as I mentioned, Shannon Sharpe has responded. This is what we want to get into. And let me tell you, did he respond? A lot of money at stake in this case, right? And talking money, actually, how about getting money back? Let me tell you about Upside. Upside Gallon defend himself because this isn't right. And he says that this whole thing is being orchestrated by Tony Busby.
Oh, nah. Bro, this is fucking Better Call Saul, bro. He's got the makeup and shit, too. This guy's fucking... This guy's all in it.
Is being orchestrated by Tony Busby.
Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey, Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media.
And he goes on to say that the encounter in question took place during the day at the invitation of Jane Doe, says that this was all a deliberate setup by her. He also, by the way, revealed her first name, and apparently her name that she purportedly uses on OnlyFans. We're not going to reveal those names here. We're not going to do that. But he does go on to say, quote, my career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about, and I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. And we also got a statement from his attorney, Lonnie J. Davis, and that reads, Mr. Sharpe categorically denies all allegations of coercion or misconduct, especially the gross lie of rape, and will not submit to what he sees as an egregious attempt at blackmail. He stands firmly by the truth and is prepared to fight these false claims vigorously in court. And Davis has also commented about that apparent tape that was seemingly referenced by Sharpe, because he accuses Jane Doe of providing a, quote, secretly recorded and heavily edited video to them that purports to be a non-consensual...
The problem I have with that is that on Twitter I saw something that they said that they mediated and they offered him a settlement ahead of time? True or false? It was like something like 10 mil.
Encounter of some kind. But Davis claimed that Jane Doe, quote, has refused to provide a copy of the full unedited version of the recording to Mr. Sharpe's legal team. And then there's this. Sharpe and his legal team released all of these apparent text messages between him and this Jane Doe, reportedly 44 pages worth of communications. For example, as reported by TMZ, there's one apparent message from October 2023 where Jane Doe seemingly messages Sharpe, I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you're bleeping me. Now, the New York Post reporting on other messages.
I feel like everything being said and done loses a little bit of credibility if the 10 mil offer is true. 10 mil, even for him, guys, I'm not saying he's broke. I'm not saying he's not like he's poor or anything like that. But 10 mil is a substantial amount of his net worth. Offering 10 mil to counter a possible shakedown sounds
allegedly from Jane Doe.
Doesn't look good.
Tie me
Doesn't
up
look
and
good.
do bad things to me. I know you missed this big juicy bleep, $25K for each cheek. Tie me up like this and bleep me, with Sharpe replying, if I knew how to, I would. She then allegedly wrote back, it's okay, I have handcuffs, we can stick to those for now. Jane Doe also allegedly writing, I want like some hardcore BDSM action though, and feeling kind of freaky lately.
Yo, okay, this guy's liking this. Okay. Yo, I'm onto you, pal. I'm onto you, video guy. This guy's not just reading it. He's not just reading it. Bro, this guy's into it.
Then you have this apparent message from March 14th, 2024. I want to be abused, daddy. And then... Brother! Okay, bro. Okay, now we're onto you, pal. This is done. Message from last year where she apparently wrote him, I've always wanted a black baby. Now, Lonnie Davis commented that, quote, the evidence paints a clear picture. This was a consensual adult relationship that included role-playing, sexual language, and fantasy scenarios. So what happens then? Again, this is not the end of the story. Jane Doe ends up releasing an audio tape seemingly between her and Sharpe. And I'm going to explain part of what is heard on this tape. We can't play it for legal reasons, but here is part of the exchange, and this part is key. Again, this is from the audio tape. Jane Doe says, don't manipulate me. Sharpe replies, if you say that word one more time, I'm going to choke the bleep out of you next time I see you. Jane Doe pauses, takes a minute, and says, well, I don't want to be choked. And Sharpe replies, yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice in the matter.
Yeah, but I really know some context here, though, dude. Is there some heavy breathing? Is there some... Guys, I'm just saying, is this some role play going on or not? We have no context. This guy's not even put it... Because, listen, if it is in my understanding, and yo, hey, I will die on this hill, okay? It is my understanding that roleplay on the phone is usually not recorded. Hold on a minute now. Usually. I've never even heard of people recording their own unless there's something else at play. Hold on a minute now. I feel like it's almost, and now this, hey, I'm trying to be very careful here. I feel like it almost makes her look bad a little bit that she even has this recording if it's consensual roleplay, because why are you even recording it in the first place? I understand recording your own sexual interactions for VOD review, that's fine, people do it all the time, but it seems like a setup progression builder, right?
Be clear, this tape may only be...
Guys, VOD reviews are a thing. I'm not gonna say VOD reviews are an absolute thing. It's more popular than you guys think. I'm thinking 40% of people do VOD reviews.
A portion of the entire conversation and audio, but this appears to be a portion nonetheless. Jane Doe's attorney, again Tony Busby, described this audio as, quote, the contents of this clip are certainly not sexual. They are not playful. They are instead disturbing, aggressive, and dangerous. This audio paints a very...
Hey, Ace, get out.
very clear picture of how Sharpe treated Jane Doe, leading her to escape from him by leaving Nevada.
Chat, guys, I kind of want to know. It's not that I want to listen to the clip, but this guy's talking about the clip, but like, I need to know, like, if the context is sexual or not.
This audio paints a very clear picture of how Sharpe treated Jane Doe, leading her to escape from him by leaving Nevada and blocking all
the audio,
contact
really?
with him. And he added that they
I
released
literally
this
cannot
audio
stop thinking about you destroying my pussy.
Okay, so that's
in
enough of that.
response to Sharpe's lawyer, Blondie Davis, trying to discredit Jane Doe by releasing all of these alleged texts, which, by the way, Busby says are basically irrelevant because they're all before the alleged assault. Okay, so now I want to bring on Mauricio Padilla, litigator, criminal defense attorney, to talk more about this. Mauricio, thanks so much for taking the time. Let's just start with the lawsuit and the allegation, suing for $50 million. Very graphic details about these multiple alleged sexual assaults and rapes. Your take just on the initial lawsuit and allegations.
I mean, my take on the initial lawsuit and allegations and the publicity that's come right after it. I mean, there's rules of ethics to prohibit people from trying their case in the media. And I think from the onset, both sides are engaging in releasing what could be evidence, and the rules of ethics.
Hey, that's my take, buddy. Hey, hold on. Lawyer Andy. Hey, I'm with you on that. I said that.
From state to state vary, but they pretty much usually are concentrated on not releasing any information that could possibly affect a jury. And they're out there releasing pages and pages of text messages. They're out there releasing audio. It looks to me like
at this point, they both know this isn't going to trial. It's going to be some drop or settlement beforehand because they know this shit is going to, most of it's going to play. It's going to pre-play in public and end in public for some dog shit because that's the name of the game these days.
Both sides are engaged in trying to litigate this in the media before litigating it in a court of law.
But isn't that the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively effect, right? Isn't that what we're seeing now? It's the idea of let's battle this out on the court of public opinion, particularly, by the way, when you're dealing with such a public figure like Shannon Sharpe. The idea of if I'm fighting this in a court of law, but I'm also fighting this in the court of public opinion, if I can put enough out there.
In my opinion, Chad, it is a men's responsibility. If the ones that are getting, like, let's say it was, let's say somebody was to be entrapped and they know that they did nothing wrong. It is in these men's responsibility to themselves and other people out there to not settle and to fight the shit in court, tooth and nail, until they're getting a flat-out victory and then countersuing every time. Because there needs to be some pushback, and then it needs to be a punishment for doing dumb shit, if dumb, so that it doesn't happen to other people. People are inspired to do that, so that people are uninspired to do dumb shit. You feel me?
To try to reverse the narrative. Maybe not only I'll still retain my fan base, my career, but also it puts pressure on Jane Doe maybe to stop the lawsuit, or maybe not because she fired back too.
No, I'm not saying that they shouldn't do it, because unfortunately we live in a time where if you don't do that on behalf of your client, you're doing them a disservice. I'm just mentioning the fact that none of this is really allowed pursuant to the rules of ethics, but I understand why they're doing it, because nowadays pretty much the court of public opinion is dictating what happens in court in and of itself. Right. So it's just part of litigating cases nowadays.
Are you concerned by the content, the value of those text message conversations? Does it complicate this case? Let me rephrase. Putting aside, assuming these...
I didn't pre-watch. I know my shit, brother. Come on, man. You need some credit here, pal.
Messages of Jane Doe. You could say, I mean, she's talking about BDSM, tying up, dog collars, choking, and then she accuses him of sexual assault and being violent with her. Let me actually...
Both can be true at the same time. I don't think there's any validity in even trying to separate those things.
Read you something from the lawsuit. Okay,
or put them together, I mean.
Lawsuit. It says, a woman can say yes to consensual sexual relations with a man 99 times. But when she says no, even once, that no means no. Defendant Shannon Sharpe, a man who is accustomed...
Real shit. That's a good chat statement. Real shit.
...to getting what he wants, completely fails to understand this basic concept. After many months of manipulating and controlling plaintiff, a woman more than 30 years younger than he, and repeatedly threatening to brutally choke and violently slap her. Sharpe refused to accept the answer no and raped plaintiff despite her sobbing and repeated screams of no. So you look at those messages, are they irrelevant?
If you establish a pattern of, S&M, a pattern of voluntarily submitting yourself to someone, to accepting, violence, to accepting as part of the norm of your sex life, then obviously that's something that could be used, because he's going to say, yeah, it was consensual. So when a jury's trying to analyze whether or not these acts of violence were consensual or not, they can obviously look to the history of the relationship and whether or not she's going to admit it. So now you put her on the stand and you're like, so you allowed him to choke you. You allowed him to hit you previously. And that was something that you guys engaged in, voluntary sexual behavior, and you found it pleasurable. And you did it for the X amount of months. But
even though I agree 100%, again, all they have to do against arguments that are like that, these will have zero value if they go like, yeah, but that time it was clearly something different. And exchanges on the phone or in text shown here or whatever show that like there clearly was some friction here that was not normal towards the pattern.
Then on this particular day, you told him no. So it's something that it's fruitful to bring up a trial. I think they would be doing them a disservice if they didn't explore.
Not that she didn't lie or she lied. I'm not saying
anything. Ultimately, what Mr. Busby's saying is true. A woman can say yes 99 times and say no that 100th time, but
I don't want to say that she's right either. I'm not saying anybody, but I gotta be honest with you, chat. This exchange of texts, okay, I know this is an admission of guilt by him if this is him replying, right? But can I call you a little question mark? Is not a good look. That's like, in my opinion, that's a terrible look. Sorry, that's my take.
Historical behavior of accepting violence as the norm in your bedroom and in your sex life is something that a jury can look at to determine whether or not she did in fact say no, because he's going to say that she said yes. He's not going to admit that she said no, that he raped her.
No, I hear.
Why? Because it's in my understanding that if there was a problem at the time something happened, or not, it would be discussed or at least somewhat brushed on the fly, right? And if somebody texted this to me after, and I was blindsided, I'd be like, what the fuck is, bro? Either you not reply or you go like, what the fuck are you talking about? I want to. Can I call you? Fuck that, bro. You're not gonna accuse me of some crazy wild shit, and I'm just gonna say, oh, can I call? I'm not gonna do that shit. If you want to do some, if you are lying and you're making some shit in text, I'll be, fuck this shit. You're insane. What are you talking about? And if you're gonna call me, and I know you're fraudulent, I'm recording 100%. If it's in a legal state, fuck, that's not even a topic, bro. I cannot stress this enough. Okay, there is no way anybody, male or female, that if you didn't do something, didn't happen, that you're ever okay with receiving a message like this, ever. Bro, you should be wilding the fuck out and being in complete fucking shock mode. If you are a chill guy, you know everything was chill, and you receive a message that something was not chill. That's wild. That's off the rails.
I hear you, and I knew that he was going to get on the defensive. I mean, if you believe his side, right, that he's completely innocent, you get hit with this lawsuit, right? You want to defend yourself immediately. He goes out, he puts out this message on Instagram. Do you think he was advised by his lawyer to do so? Let's start there. And B, purportedly outing her, naming her name, just the first name, and also what her apparent handle is or name on OnlyFans. Is that appropriate? That right? I mean, again, he's defending himself, but she filed this anonymously.
Right. Well, whether or not his attorney advised him to do it, if he took those steps without discussing it with his attorney should be very upset at him doing something of that nature. I don't think that an attorney can counsel.
Also, hold on. I'm actually going to pause one more time. if you want to discuss something of this matter and it's that heavy, right? Don't text it. I know, so this comes out as insensitive, and I know I'm on a limb here. Don't text this shit, because at that point, I mean, dude, it's like, okay, then now I'm on the defensive. Now I'm texting some wild shit back. Like, it's just kind of wild. I don't know.
Sold their client to disclose
Because it's not true. It's baby.
A victim in a sex case. So I don't think that his attorney would ever admit to taking those steps simply because there's laws to protect victims in sex crimes. But I understand why it's beneficial to his defense. I'm putting it out there. I'm saying who you are. I'm saying that you're an OnlyFans person. I'm saying that we were engaged in this voluntary sexual behavior where you possibly accepted money to do sexual things on camera or do sexual things for me. So it definitely benefits his defense in letting people know, listen, this is not the person that Busby's saying that it is. This is the person that I'm telling you who she is. So you have a lot of leeway. Like, you have a client that's telling you you're allowed to believe your client and you're allowed to litigate from me being a dominant figure. That has to be his defense. But a lot of people would reject that.
It was tens of millions of dollars, then clarified and said it was at least $10 million. So the idea that if that's true, they tried to get to settle it, and then she files, and now they have their messages ready, what does that tell you?
Listen, I think that that's part of what Busby has been doing historically. Like, they approach you and they tell you, listen, we have this. Let me know if you want to resolve this previously. I think if anybody looks at like the P.
Yeah, but chat, I think these guys are scummy enough, definitely, that if they were offered 10 mil, if they said no in mediation, they're going for a fucking payday. Like, no way they would risk their clients fucking free 10 mil to go for 50 mil if there's a chance they're going to get zero. That's insane. That's ridiculous. They would never risk that.
Diddy didn't do it, right? And then they filed against
unless they're that scummy.
In a day, we see the value of resolving cases. So I think it's on par with how Busby has been litigating his prior cases to give them an opportunity. When you look at it, because I guess the mindset, the universal mindset, is that you don't want to be gagging people in a court of law. You want people to have the freedom to express themselves openly without the threat of litigation while they're in litigation, and that's the entire. So to answer your question,
real shit.
You're right, a litigation privilege does apply, but nowadays
anyway,
people get sued for all kind of things.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a countersuit because, again, his perspective is this is blackmail. These are false allegations. And by the way, what's the timing of it? And by the way, when we talk about Shannon Sharpe, he's a powerhouse in the podcast space. Hosts Club Shay Shay, Nightcap, tons of followers. According to Front Office Sports, he's expected right now to sign a new contract worth more than $100 million. Do you think that...
What?
Right now to sign tons of followers. According to Front Office Sports, he's expected right now to sign a new contract worth more than $100 million. Do you think that comes into play at all?
The problem with people that have those types of contracts is it doesn't have to mean that you're guilty or not guilty. Just the news in and of itself is going to affect your ability to get followers, to do your job, and to execute contracts. Now, if he loses a $100 million contract because of this, whether there's a litigation privilege or not, you can expect a lawsuit. Even if the standard for a motion to dismiss is lower than
even though this guy's right, he would never see the light of that money ever again. Like that lady cannot afford that. Whatever he lost is something that they can't put out. It would just be GG. They can't collect on it. Civil lawsuits are shit. Like, what can you do, man? Like,
and the standard for a motion for summary judgment, you could file a lawsuit. You could survive motion to dismiss, and routinely judges don't like to decide cases on summary judgment, and they often say that almost anything is an issue of fact for the jury because they know they're not going to.
Guys, maybe this is wrong. I asked you the video, what's his net worth? 22 mil for 40 currencies, blah, blah, blah. $14 million? What? So how would he offer a $10 million settlement if he has $14 million net worth? That doesn't sound. None of this sounds correct.
They get appealed when they make that type of ruling, and they like to kick it to a jury, even if it is the type of case that shouldn't survive motion for summary judgment. So what I'm saying is that even if you have a clear defense, even if they don't have a good case, a lawsuit is still something that can be fruitful to either side.
Do you think this is going to end up settling, or is it now just too far down?
No, it's not monthly. It's a news source. It's called Finance Monthly.
How do you settle it without one?
Anyway, that was interesting. I mean, I guess I'll see how that goes.
After fleeing through a ditch and trying to escape to the woods, officers...
Anyway,